Oh, hey, hi. How's it going?
Hey.
Welcome back to another episode of the Ouchcast. With me, as always, is Enrique.
Hi.
He talks.
I do. Although it sound like a tin can. I don't know, but that's cool. I like sounding like a tin can. Brought to you by Monster.
Shh. I'll bleep that out. No, I won't.
No, you won't.
No, I won't.
Do it in post.
I'll do it in post. Hey, shut up. I've been doing a lot of shit in post.
I know. I believe it.
Yeah.
Stuff's been looking really good.
Yeah.
You've been working hard.
Yeah. Hardly working. No, I'm just tired. How you been, dude?
I've been distracted, apparently. Cause,
I can tell.
yeah. Trying to find stuff when you can't find stuff is wild.
Right?
Yeah. No, but I've been busy. Like, we're towards the end of the school year. People are graduating. Only like our school's small, so we only have like, I don't know, I want to say like 3 or 4 students graduating. Which, is actually probably more than last year, which I think was only 2. But I mean, that's because we have a really, really small school.
Last year only 2 graduated?
Yeah, but it's not because because they failed or nothing. It's just our school smallest size. Like it's a small size. See, that's what happens when you like I said small. Our school's smallest size? What the hell does that even mean?
I have no idea.
You and your Goku. Hey, what does that actually say, though? Do you know?
I think this is the Turtle Hermit one. And then this is the King Kai one up here.
But what does it say?
Turtle Hermit.
Really?
Or, yeah, Master Turtle, something like that, I think.
Okay.
I'm not too sure. Look it up.
I mean,
if there was something like that, you
could
can look up information.
Yeah, I could. If I could, connect, but, being rushed and everything.
Well,
so
it's already 9 o'clock. So, hi, how's it going?
8:52. Let's be intellectually honest here.
Okay, Michael. My son Michael. Whenever I tell him it's bedtime because their bedtime is 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, bedtime, and he always goes, it's 8:58.
Kids want to squeeze out the last minute of their night. I don't blame them.
Ridiculous. Speaking of kids, Isaac.
Hello, I'm back.
He's black.
No.
That's racist. But he has mush mouth because they added a bunch more metal into his mouth. Metal! The poor guy. He's been in a lot of pain, dude.
Isaac, do you like metal music?
No,
Yeah.
he's more punk.
Okay, see, he did that thing. Okay, guys, here's a little pro tip for you guys out there. When you ask a question, look at the eye movement of the person answering the question. If they look down, they're searching for an answer that's not drawn from memory. If they look up, they're searching their memory, and oftentimes they'll answer it's from the memory. If they look to the left and then back to the middle, or to the right and back to the middle, there's a very big chance that they're lying. They don't know. They don't really know how they feel about something, and they're just giving you the first answer that comes to their mind, but they feel very unsure about their answer.
Unless they have lazy eye. Then they'll be looking this way, and then one eye looking that way. You don't even know what's going on.
Well, that's just confusing.
No, they're ignorant. That's ignorant.
So, but then you have sociopaths like Trump, and you can't.
And JD Vance.
Well, actually, JD Vance is he's not a sociopath.
He's just into mascara.
Yes, he is. No, JD Vance is actually worse. He's worse. He's genuinely.
Are you a racist?
Here's the thing. People try to lump everybody into for
lump
example,
with Trump.
Well, yeah, that should be a segment. Well, anyways, everyone tries to put all them people in the same category as Trump. And the reason why Trump is such a unique individual is because he is genuinely he's a genuine sociopath. He's a genuine person who has no real feeling of the outside world in any way, and everything is external. He's all hunger and all greed. Everything stems purely
And small hands.
And small hands, yes. He's and everyone around him are more calculating. I would argue that people like JD Vance are worse than Trump because they know what they're doing. Mm-hmm. And in the case of Trump, I don't want to say he doesn't know what he's doing. He knows what he's doing, but everything comes from a very pure. No, he everything comes from how does this benefit me? Not how this affects me or affects you. It's how does it benefit me?
That's what she said.
I mean, you can see in all his decisions, even even some of his more outlandish claims of stuff. Anyways,
maybe he's possessed.
Maybe. But tell me I'm crazy. I'm sure you guys. I don't.
You're
By the
crazy.
way, I never check the comments. I should at some point so we can engage. But I don't
Nah.
know. I have a feeling I'm not going to like what I read, so I'm good.
Nah, don't even bother.
Head in the ground.
Head in the ground.
Head in the ground.
So as you can tell, we're not in Undercity again. We're back in the old studio.
Wait a minute. This isn't Undercity?
No brick house behind us.
Well, we blocked it with the.
What the? Yeah, and that.
It's,
And that was yours. And then.
Jeez, I think I was gonna look up something, wasn't I? Something about Goku. I don't care anymore. Honestly,
Yeah,
I don't care.
it took too
Like,
long,
your
dude.
shirt, like, it's cool, but who cares?
Oh, someone got off on a pissy couch.
Yeah, I did.
Hold on.
It's a Saturday morning, and I'm supposed to be doing work. It's a 3-day weekend, but I'm
You're gonna work through it?
I'm gonna work through the whole thing. Which,
Well, at least you get summer off, right? Or are you doing summer school?
no, dude, it's not like that. People think like, oh, cool, you get the summer off and get to. Nah, man, it's work. It's work.
You're gonna be
Now,
working too?
The only well, I am. Yeah. And the difference though would be that the paperwork's a little bit less. Like during the school year, I'm doing like, the IEPs, the individualized education plans, and those require a lot of input from people around me and all the paperwork and documentation that I keep of the kids throughout the year, and then
Right.
sort of combine it into a full-on report about like how the progress is, where their needs are, whatever. And it so happens that I have 3 coming up this coming up week, and I've been writing one of them. But dude, I'm a good writer when it comes to just in general like information, but I'm also a very slow writer.
English good.
I'm very like I'm very meticulous. Like I always
Yeah.
and because of it, I also just get writer's block. I'm also easily distracted. The conditions have to be perfect for me to be able to be productive. Otherwise, I get distracted easy.
So you're like me, yeah.
Yeah, I'm a mess, man. I'm a mess.
No, it's understandable, dude. Like I go through that a lot.
But
Like,
yeah, the summer-
I'll be sitting there having to do a proposal, and I'm like, how the hell am I gonna write this? But first, read it, and then I'm off in that rabbit hole of what movie came out in 1989.
Yeah. Well, the thing that's been very helpful is like using like Chat GPT and like AI stuff.
It does.
I think we talked about this where where I mentioned that I heard somewhere where the difference between the older generation, like our generation, and the much younger, like Isaac's generation, that they use Chat GPT for very different reasons.
Yeah, we did. We covered that.
Like for example, you and I will like for me, I use it for information. I use it kind of like an extension of Google and Wikipedia.
Right.
Although I do ask it questions regarding my workload. I'll be like, can you help me write a like a vocational goal, and then it'll give me like all of these interesting sort of parameters on what goes into it.
Yeah.
And then after that, I might say, okay, well, I'll say I'm looking for. And then I'll put like a range of skills, and then it'll give me like a really well kind of organized list of stuff. And from there, I don't cut and paste it. What I do instead is I use it as a starting point.
As a reference point. Yeah.
Exactly.
And then you
And-
use that to write whatever you have to write.
Yeah,
that's,
exactly.
That's kind of how I do it too, because I can't really copy and paste it when I use it, but it's a guideline of how to. Plus, I feel like I'm cheating when I do that.
Yeah.
So for me, it's kind of like, I'll be like, hey, I use Gemini more than ChatGPT.
Okay.
Gemini, I'll ask a question like, write a detailed scope of work for the removal and disposal of approximately 120 linear feet of baseboard,
Okay.
for example. And then it'll give me a quick little, whatever, but I have to reword it because it's not going to be exactly what I gave it. It gives me all this other stuff that has nothing to do with what I'm asking it. So I just kind of like use it as a guideline to do my scope of work for my proposals.
Yeah. Oh man, that sounds incredibly boring.
It is extremely boring. I shoot myself in the head every single day. Dude, estimating is boring as hell.
Yeah.
My day job is mundane. It's
It's a creative sinkhole.
it's a huge creative sinkhole.
I mean, there's a reason why we do this. Like, I mean, we're not getting paid for this. And hell,
Wait,
we've
we're not
lost
getting
money.
paid? I'm out.
Right. Like how much money we put into this thing over how many years now? It's been 5 years?
5 years. Four
Yeah.
4.5, 5 years. Yeah, on and off.
I mean, it's fun.
well,
Like, it's,
okay, technically we started version 1.0 in 2017.
Yeah.
That was our first time when it was like 20 of us.
Right.
Insert picture here. Then after that, we took a break because that didn't work out. I tried tweaking it a little bit. We did another one without you. It crashed horrendously. You were not available. I don't know if I have a picture, but if I do, I'll put it here. If not, it'll be like a, error message. And then
Put that really cool picture of The Simpsons. The drunk guy who it says
No, we have
technical
our,
difficulties.
we have our own. We have our own octopus of that version of that.
Yeah,
I'll just put that guy up.
but The Simpsons one's funny.
Screw you.
The Simpsons already.
I'll do the Kanye West one that I have. Simpsons did it. And then we did 2.0, which was with, the other two that will not be named. And then now 3.0.
Yeah.
So that's what we're.
Okay, well that was a fun history. I feel kind of like we're like in that SNL skit, like thank you for
The sweaty balls.
It's like thank you for coming to the show. It's it's pretty fantastic.
Yeah, with Nora Dunn and Molly Shannon. Yeah.
It's all ASMR.
Dibs on Molly Shannon.
Molly Shannon.
You're Nora Dunn. Yeah, it's because it's that weird echo in that whole thing. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Anyway.
All right, so let me fill you in on what I've just recently watched, and I know that you're never going to watch it. I don't know why. Why haven't you watched Andor?
Because I'm waiting for this dude right there.
Dude, are you ever going to watch Andor? You don't. He doesn't care about Andor, and he shouldn't, by the way, because Andor isn't for him.
No. He's a huge.
I love Andor. Rogue One is one of my favorite.
Liar! No, I'm just kidding.
No,
Hey,
seriously.
really? That's great.
Yeah.
Have you watched the first season?
We need 2 more episodes.
Okay.
But we stopped because life got in the way, and then whatever. So we need 2 more episodes to finish it, or 1 more episode, and then season 2.
Okay.
But we just started doing, well, actually very poorly, but we started doing it chronological order.
Yeah.
The Star Wars. So we started. He hasn't watched Acolyte. So we watched episode 1 of Acolyte, and then we were like, okay, we'll continue this timeline.
Yeah, I think I'm just gonna wait till we catch up to Andor in the chronological order.
Yeah, okay. I think that'll be the best bet for me.
That's
too.
cool, man. I honestly, sorry, I didn't mean to misjudge you. I just finished watching the second season, and obviously that's it. I don't think there's gonna be a third.
No,
I mean, there shouldn't be.
They said that's it.
Yeah, there shouldn't be. But the issue is they've so overemphasized over the years the rebellion as a sort of backdrop for mostly just Jedi, right?
Right.
And so to see like how messy a rebellion really is, especially one that's portrayed so realistically, like the logistics of it, the sort of like emotional and also the ethical fallout, man. Like it's insane. Like I mean, Andor himself is. He's not a guy that you would want to root for. Like in the first season, they made, they build him up, his childhood, and you sort of feel some empathy for him. But overall, I mean, you don't root for him because like he's a good guy. I mean, you root for him because he's the only guy that's able to do what he's doing for what it is, and there is goodness in him, but it's all very kind of self-interested, right? Like,
right.
It's all about like his family, and or in this case, the person they introduce his wife, and so, dude, I just want to say that the second season, man, I care. I want to see more of that. I want to see more of like the Empire. Like dealing with like dealing with the rebels like on a governmental level. So I kind of want like an office kind of like without the jokes, but I want like a political drama that's set in the Star Wars universe. But people won't go for that. Andor is the closest you're going to get to it. It's a perfect storm of like good writing, good directing, amazing visuals, great actors. I don't know that they're ever going to be able to do that. Again, they're just not.
Did you watch Obi-Wan?
Yeah.
What do you think about it? I liked it too.
I liked it a lot.
I enjoyed it a lot. I know I got a little flack from certain people, but I enjoyed it. They're talking about part 2.
I hope so. Well, I mean, they left a huge opening for it when Qui-Gon came out at the end, and it's like you still. I mean, you sort of get to the Alex McGuinness Obi-Wan by the end of the series to some degree, but not really, because he's still very much Ewan McGregor's young, like spirited guy, and you want to see him like sort of transition into more the Alex McGuinness, like the self-assured, hermit who knows that his mission is meaningful.
Yeah.
I mean, by the time you meet him in New Hope, you get the sense that he's very comfortable with his station in life. He knows that this is what he has to do, and there's no regret. I mean, to the point where in the movie when he knows that he sacrifices himself, as he tells Vader, if you strike me down, I'm gonna be more stronger than you've ever, or whatever. I forget the exact quote, but he knows, and this Ewan McGregor at the end doesn't really know yet. Still, in my opinion, like he's closer to it.
And Obi-Wan?
And the Obi-Wan
Well, no,
series?
because it's barely getting like opened up to him, isn't it?
Yeah, and so he seems closer to it. Like he's accepted that he needs to continue to train as a Jedi. That's the sense I got, by the way, because I feel like he was a man completely, utterly defeated.
Yeah.
Right? He was
Yeah.
utterly defeated by the... And he should have been, by the way. That's the thing that people don't get. Like, dude, when Revenge of the Sith, like, ended... Dude, it ended in such a downer.
Yeah.
Like, there really is no hope. And that's the reason why A New Hope makes more sense in the context of that last movie.
Right.
So I feel like when you meet Obi-Wan in the series, he is that broken guy. Like he realizes that, Anakin Skywalker, at least on some level, might have been right to leave the Jedi Order. I mean, that's what I think. I think in some level he himself betrays the Jedi Order to the same degree that Anakin did at the end of the movie. I mean, he's not evil, but he's okay. What's that quote about? Like the way for evil to persist is by good men doing nothing, or something to that. Is that the quote?
Paraphrasing, but yeah.
So
like
that's exactly, dude. That's Obi-Wan. Remember that scene in where like he's watching some injustice and he just kind of keeps his head down and ignores it.
Yeah. Cutting his fish.
Yeah,
Whatever he's doing.
That dude, that's just as bad as Anakin, like
That
going
is
out and
bad.
killing the younglings, in my opinion, like doing nothing.
Yeah.
So, anyways, I love that series, man.
I love everything but the series except for two things that still bug me is the whole shoehorning in Leia.
I thought she was adorable. What
No,
are you talking about?
hold on.
That she was great.
Let me explain why I didn't like it.
All right.
Not
Can I hold my hand, bro?
Yes, please.
Okay, go ahead.
No, she was adorable. Yeah, I loved seeing little Leia.
Right.
But the thing is, it ties in with the flaw of New Hope, which is basically Obi-Wan dies, and then she's like, "Oh, I'm sorry that you, Luke, that I just met, that some guy died that I don't know." It's like, you don't think she would have been like, "Oh my God, I know that guy." You know what I mean? Like, don't you think she would have been like, oh, "That's Obi-Wan"?
Well, okay, whoa. Okay,
One.
first of all, she knows. She reaches out to Obi-Wan. He's the only one that can help me. They've never explained that. How does she know that Obi-Wan is you're my only hope? Obi-Wan Kenobi, you are my only hope.
Because she mentions that her father told her that Obi-Wan fought for him during the Clone Wars. That's a line from the movie. My father often spoke about how you helped us during the Clone Wars, something like that, But
she never said the word Clone Wars. You lying son of a hoo-ha. All right, but here's the thing, though. Okay. All right,
Hold on.
I know you look up, and I'm going to tell you this.
Okay, you do your
the
bullshit.
The little girl, right? Dude. First of all, she's like supposed to be like what, 5-6 years old, or is she like 11 years old? Do you know?
I think she's supposed to be like 8 or 9, something like that.
Okay. So, dude, think back when you were 8 or 9. Isaac, do you remember any meaningful like teacher, educator when you were 8 or 9? I mean, maybe you might remember your second grade teacher, your third grade teacher a little bit, right?
Yeah.
But can you see their face in your mind? Shut up. I'm not asking you.
Rhonda Wood was my kindergarten. Big blonde lady.
Oh yeah.
Big blonde lady.
Yeah.
Miss Olivas.
Is that why you like the tortas?
Small, slim. I got your torta.
Yeah, you keep your torta.
Small, slim.
I don't go that route.
Latina with short black hair, kind of a olive complexion. Miss Armienta, which was my first teacher crush for second grade.
Armienta, was she like married to Sargento, like the provolone?
That's why she was my first crush.
I hated my second grade teacher.
Poco de Beppo. You hated your second grade teacher?
Remember why?
Is that that dude that was getting you in trouble?
Linguini.
The one that would always send me home
Yeah.
every week with the notes for dumb reasons.
Yeah, that guy.
It was a girl.
Okay. She hated you. No.
You're like that guy. It was a girl.
That guy. No. She hated him. No, but there was another guy that
Maybe
also
she
picked on you
hated
too.
Not in elementary.
In middle school, was it?
He would pick on everyone though. That guy was weird.
That's the guy that got fired,
So
and you got an A.
I have a question though.
Check this out. Hold on. So there was a teacher that kept bugging, calling my wife and complaining about Isaac the whole time.
And not just me, he'd do that to everyone. He was weird. And
Yeah, but we thought at first we thought it was Isaac, so we would like chew his ass out, and he would be like, "But it's not me." It's like, "Nah, dude, it's you." Like whatever, right? Then after a while, we started noticing that he was like for stupid shit that he would call like, "He didn't have a pencil, but he had another pen," and like, "What the fuck are you talking about? He has pencils." "Oh yeah, boy, he found it later and he gave me attitude." Like stupid shit like that, right? So after a while, we're like, "Nah." We started ignoring him because he started giving my wife attitude too on the phone. So I'm like, he started calling me because he didn't like that my wife was not backing him up, and I was like, "Yeah, and." And he would stay quiet. And I'm like, "No, fuck you, dude. Like, what the fuck's wrong? Like, if there's a problem, we'll have a meeting." No problem. I just wanted to be, you to be in the know or something like that. He was
Right.
So after a while, we just we knew he was kind of like a dick.
Right.
Fast forward to like mid-semester, all of a sudden, Isaac gets a substitute. All of a sudden, the teacher never comes back. He got fired. The whole class got passing grades. All of them.
Huh.
So we think he probably just did something wrong, and who knows
he
what
did.
happened.
I found out why.
Why?
So, remember my art teacher?
Yeah.
I'm like really good friends with her.
Uh-huh.
She was telling me that he got fired because he got caught like patting down a kid.
Patting down a kid?
Like patting them down like a police officer, or patting them
Yeah.
down like, "Hey kid, you're looking kind of."
Would you
Both.
like some cookies?
He would be weird with like the girls, and he got caught patting down a kid.
That's the sad thing about my profession. It's now, you hear so many more stories like that. It's I don't understand how it happens. I don't get it. Like it's almost in every state now. You have like at least 2 cases every year now from every state. So I mean, if you do the math, that's a lot.
I don't remember it being that bad when we were kids, but probably it wasn't being reported.
It wasn't being reported.
Yeah, that's what I think.
Because you would hear the rumors. I mean, we talked about it, I think, in our second or third podcast. I remember
Was
that
Churchill?
one. Yeah.
Baby, bad baby.
Well, we talked about, like, I remember telling the story that I heard about. She was I don't remember what her name was, but she was one of the teachers, and her husband was the vice principal. And it was rumored in the high school, and this was like in the late 80s, early 90s, but that she was in a relationship with one of the football players. Stuff like that. And then, of course, some more, there were some more corroborated ones. One of the band directors, she
Oh yeah,
was
she got
in
fired for
a-
that. She was arrested for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
It was not the one that replaced Edwards.
no,
It was the one after that.
Yeah, Beals or something like that. I don't know.
Beals. Yeah, Beals.
And then there was there was also not recently, but maybe like 15, 13 years ago, there was a male teacher who was apparently in a relationship with 2 different students at
I
high
heard
school.
about that, yeah.
So I mean, dude, these things happen, and now because we can hear about it, and the community's gotten wider. The global community is access to information quicker. You hear about this stuff all the time now.
Speaking of accessing information quicker, it's a second. Going back to the Star Wars.
Yes, sure.
General Kenobi, years ago, you served my father in the Clone Wars. Mm-hmm. So she mentions Clone
She
Wars.
mentioned the Clone Wars. Well, egg on my face.
He'll never learn.
Well, you know what? Okay, but my point is still this, man. 8 years old, you may remember some of your teachers' names, but I doubt you remember like the way they really truly look. Like I can think right now to my 3rd grade teacher, Mr. Guajardo. And he had braces, and he used to play. I forget what that guitar is called. Well, it's not even a guitar. It looks like a harpsichord, but
Right.
You know what it has
Sitar.
little buttons?
No, I don't know if it's a sitar.
No, it's not a sitar, for sure not. No.
No.
Anyways, the guy we would sing music all the time. I mean, it was fun. I liked it, but I can remember his face, but mostly because he had very cartoonish characters. I would imagine that if I saw his actual picture, it would not look what I remember him as. I mean, there would be features of,
Right.
but it wouldn't be exactly him. And my point being this, is that I can imagine like Leia, 8-year-old little Leia, remembering Obi-Wan who helped her, but not necessarily like remembering him. And I don't think that's a stretch of the imagination. But when we watch movies and shows, we want to assume that there's like an absolute, like that everything's absolute, and therefore like if you met him when you're 5 years old, then you need to remember him when you're like 30. And I don't know that that's exactly how the world works.
But the thing is, if you see this, it's telling you like the whole quote is that now like General Kenobi, years ago you served my father in the Clone Wars. Now he begs you to help him in his struggle against the Empire. Mm-hmm. I regret that I'm unable to present my father's request to you in person, but my ship has fallen under attack, and now I'm afraid my mission to bring you to Alderaan has failed. I have placed information vital to the survival of the rebellion into the memory system of this R2 unit. My father will know how to retrieve it. You must see this droid safely delivered to him on Alderaan. This is our most desperate hour. Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi, you're my only hope. So the whole time she's talking like, oh yeah, hey dude, like my dad told me to tell you this because he knows you. And then like at no point is like, you helped my family in the past. You helped me in the past. Can you please help me? It's not like a personal thing. Yeah, look it up because you don't fucking, yeah,
So okay, so I don't know why we're like this is a rabbit hole we're in, but cool. I'm with it. Anytime stars, let's just go into it. So the internet's really great, right? The internet always comes through in a pinch. So it like one of the answers that I just read, it says that Leia knew of him as Obi-Wan. Her holo message was for that person. So when Luke shows up on the Death Star and says, "I'm here with Ben Kenobi," Leia just repeats the name back to him. She doesn't know the name Ben, but she knows Kenobi.
Okay, that's a good theory.
And then another one, hold on, this is the Korra one. It says, the technical reason is because Kenobi series wasn't written yet. Of course. But okay, but you know, come on, everything. We always have to give that. Like, I mean, that's stupid. I hate when people go that lazy round on that kind of answer.
Yeah.
Because the reality is, if there was, if you write a show and then you write a prequel, yes, they rarely ever connectively work. Sometimes you get it right. Sometimes you get it wrong. Most of the time you do.
I don't like it when they get shoehorned in for the prequel, like they do, like in
Chewbacca with Yoda.
Chewbacca with Yoda. I mean, I don't want to use Star Wars as an example, but yeah, Chewbacca with, like, they shared any screen time in the original trilogy, but then on the prequels, it's like, miss you the most, I will, Chewbacca. You know, it's like, dude, like.
Well, the Clone War cartoons sort of like fill that in, right?
Yeah, yeah.
I mean,
afterwards,
yeah.
Afterwards, but I mean, it's like it's that shoehorn fit in where it's like, or even though I love the movie, by the way, unpopular opinion, the Han Solo movie, I think it's great, but the fact that the shoehorn in, like, everything happens in his origin at the same time, like the whole 12 parsecs happens on the same story as his origin with the Millennium Falcon and meeting Chewbacca and all that. Like, it all happens at the same time.
Yeah.
Instead of it happening like, oh yeah, the 12 parsecs thing happened like 15 years after I got the ship or something. You know, like, why is it all all the events happen at the same time? Like they have to hit these notes that they're known for, you know, over and over. It's like all of a sudden doing Ronald McDonald movie, and then he invents the Big Mac chicken nuggets and the Filet-O-Fish all on the same day. Like, it's, who is he, Dolly Parton? Like,
Yeah. Well, okay. So, I mean, let me ask you this though. Like, did you ever read the book The Hobbit?
Yes.
And you liked it, right?
I don't remember much of it because I get it like I don't think I finished it actually.
So in The Hobbit,
I get it confused with the movie.
Right. Fair enough. In The Hobbit, there's a chapter called Riddles in the Dark. I mean, I'm sure you know the reference because you saw Lord of the Rings and you know the Riddles in the Dark.
Gollum and all that.
Gollum and that, right? And essentially that's the chapter in which Bilbo meets Gollum and he steals the ring. Now, in The Hobbit, there's a chapter, and you can actually find the original chapter, but I'm kind of getting ahead of myself. When he wrote The Hobbit, like, he never, at the time, he didn't meant it to be a prequel to the to Lord of the Rings, as far as I remember.
Right.
He started to sort of retroactively put stuff in there. Like, he made references to Gondolin. He made references to, like, you know, like, for example, the two blades, the one that Bilbo the one that Bilbo has. And,
Needle
and then there's,
I forget the other one, but yeah.
Well, anyways, so all this stuff, like, he starts making all these references and stuff. But at some point he realizes, oh yeah, this is going to be a prequel to Lord of the Rings. And in fact, Lord of the Rings, Lord of the Rings also wasn't really necessarily meant to be like his opus. Like, initially he was just writing for the world of Middle Earth in order to expand on his language, because the guy just loved language. Yeah. And so he had all these little fairy tales, and in his mind he thought, well, I want to have like a mythology for England. Mm-hmm. So he created all of these little stories, and the guy edited these things his whole life.
Oh yeah, and he would put detail and these history and these notes that he never made it into the book, which was freaking amazing.
And that's the reason why you can find.
He was the original dungeon master.
He really was.
Yeah, that's
So
insane.
he has volumes of stories which edit out and retcon things back and forth. But
Yeah.
essentially, when you think of canon, you think the Silmarillion, you think Lord of the Rings. Although the Lord of the Rings is now considered like the main core canon, and then
Right.
the Hobbit is part of it. Now, the reason I bring up the Hobbit is that Hobbit was written after the fact, as I understand it.
I'm not familiar, so I can correct you.
And so in it, he at some point he had written. Actually, no, he wrote The Hobbit first, and then Lord of the Rings afterwards. Now,
okay.
And so what ends up happening is the chapter, The Riddles in the Dark. Bilbo is a little bit more conniving in how he steals the ring from Gollum, and so he ends up.
ditties him.
Well, you know what? He did it. I think that it's a little worse, and I need to look it up because honestly, I've read these books, and right now I'm like, there's a fog in my brain about it. But
I would have to ask my wife too. She knows them by heart.
well, okay. So, anyways, the Riddles in the Dark chapter was completely changed. It was retcon in later publishings of the book in order to align with Lord of the Rings better, because a lot of writers, readers, wrote into him saying, "Hey, the Bilbo in your original book doesn't match like the guy that we would have met in the movies, rather in the Lord of the Rings. So, what gives?" And so he also agreed. So he ended up retconning it. So to get the original unabridged chapter, you can find it like in collected books. Like I have a book from 1968 or 1969 in which it has the Riddles in the Dark chapter.
Okay, but I mean,
And let me look that up.
yeah, in the defense of Tolkien, wouldn't it be where it's been so long the Bilbo had the ring that by the time you meet him in Lord of the Rings, he's been a twisted version of himself? Like, wouldn't it affect his characteristics?
Yes,
where you wouldn't have to like change. Why would you have to retcon? Because it's like, yeah, dude, the ring screwed his mind, so that's why he's not the same as he was in The Hobbit.
So the Hobbit book was written before Lord of the Rings, definitively. It was written in 1937. That's when it was published. And Lord of the Rings was published in 1954. He had to, the way he retconned it was, if you remember, in Lord of the Rings, in Hobbit, the ring is not as addictive. Like there's really no talk about how dangerous the rings are, and really all he uses it for is to disappear. So you don't necessarily see the ill effects until Lord of the Rings.
Well, because there's more lore, I think, after the fact.
Well, but the argument is that the lore was written in order. The lore was written in order to accommodate the sort of changes as well.
Yeah, I'll give you that one.
And my point is, I think my overall point is that sometimes when you write prequels, because essentially, The Hobbit is a prequel, although Lord of the Rings is a sequel, but all of this stuff falls under his overall mythology, which is the Silmarils, right? Like the Silmarillion is really the core of his story, right? It's the idea of when the first age of man, how the world was created, Middle Earth was created, and how there was a war for these diamonds. They contained the light of the world, like the last light of the world,
Right.
And essentially the elves, their whole destruction came because of these gems, these gemstones, and
then Thanos came.
Yeah, his name was Morgoth. So not Thanos.
Morgoth D. Thanos.
Whatever.
You know what's funny to me?
What's up?
How, I mean, it's just not funny. It's just cool. C.S. Lewis and him were best friends. That is so cool. I don't know. I just find that interesting. How
They were part of a writers club, I guess, and they would meet up like at coffee houses and discuss their stories.
Yeah.
And both of them were. Here's the thing, like both of them were very Christian, right? I mean, they were deeply,
Yeah. C.S. Lewis got to start writing about a lot of Christian.
and
stuff,
he actually overtly wrote about Christianity,
Yeah,
where Tolkien never did.
Yeah, and then also Aslan is based on Jesus Christ and so on.
Right, but if you asked Tolkien at the time, he would say that Middle Earth was compatible with a Christian God.
He did.
Like, even though you can see it as a pantheon of they're almost like Greek gods and stuff, because he had but he would say that the Valar and all of them were essentially angels, and he He believed there was only one true God, and the rest of them were not gods. They were more like prophets and messengers and stuff like that. And while they have powers and they were connected to the world in different ways, Lord of the Rings, for the most part, there is a kind of Christian overtone to it.
Yeah.
And a lot of it came from his conversations with C.S. Lewis. Like C.S. Lewis would give him, like, I think there is a letter in one of Tolkien's kind of published books. You can this is a great book, by the way. You should totally get it. It's called Letters of Tolkien, and in it he has correspondences between fans and publishers, his wife, and you can sort of read how he thought. You can get a really clear picture of who the guy was and what he thought.
I think I've read some of that. Not all of it, but I think
it's great. One of them is I want to say it speaks to how he had a conversation with C.S. Lewis where he wanted to make his mythology more Christian, and it was C.S. Lewis who discouraged it.
Yeah.
C.S. Lewis was the one who told him, no, continue to make it more fantasy.
Yeah, because he was a fan.
Right, and continue to just focus on that, because the goodness, the good versus evil, and the Christian word is more inherent in that. So it becomes a parable as opposed to like a straight, Bible story, which is what he didn't want Tolkien to do. And I mean, I'm guessing, C.S. Lewis himself, kind of took that same advice, because if you look at, like, for example, a book like the Screw Tape Letters, have you ever read the Screw Tape Letters?
No.
Dude, it's amazing. So the Screw Tape Letters essentially is a story of a demon corresponding with a lesser demon, getting advice on how to corrupt humans. And in it, like, you get sort of this vision of a hierarchy in hell that's almost very bureaucratic, like an office, and people are prescribed roles and tempting like humans. And the more you tempt, the closer you are to what they call our father, which is the devil, right? And your mission is to try to pull people away from the enemy, which is God. And so C.S. Lewis is quoted as saying that book was very hard for him to write because he had to get into a dark space. Honestly, when you read the book, it's not that dark, but I mean, imagine as a Christian it would be, because he is absolutely talking about how to destroy a person's soul.
Yeah.
And how to corrupt them and how to tempt them. And so C.S. Lewis said that you have to get into a certain headspace to write that, because I think years later he wrote a commencement. I want to say it was a commencement speech in the voice of Screwtape, the character, and he said,
Screwtape, what a great name.
Yeah, right. And actually, there, I think his nephew is called Wormtongue or something like that,
which is Wormtongue from.
It might be. Yeah, I have to look it up. But great, I'm surprised you never read it. It's a very small book.
Send me the thing. I'll look it up right now. I'm reading a book called L.A. Noire, which I'm really hooked on. So, but as soon as I'm done with that, I'll go back to that.
Yeah, I mean, it's great. It's a fun read.
That's cool. You know what's funny that you bring up J.R. Tolkien, because I was just at the Whittier Library yesterday, matter of fact.
Okay.
And I was over in the mythology section and all that, and I found a book. I may be wrong, but it was by Tolkien. But I think it was a collection of stories of Camelot, I believe, or like it was like another mythology. Look it up. I don't know. He did write something else that was not Lord of the Rings or his own. Like, it was basically like a collection. I just glanced at it. I was just like, Tolkien Camelot. I wasn't sure if that's the one he did, but I was just like, It was just. Is it there?
I think so. Like, let's see, Fall of Arthur, Arthurian influences. I don't see any reference to a book.
I know his son was like edited by, what's his name, Chris Tolkien or whatever his name is.
Well, okay, so it says here that Tolkien began writing The Fall of Arthur in the 1930s, but never completed it. He wrote the poem in a alliterative verse style similar to Beowulf. I did
Beowulf. That's the one he did. He did Beowulf. That's the one I saw.
Dude, no, but he didn't write Beowulf.
No, he didn't. He didn't write it. But I'm saying there was a book, Beowulf, by J.R. Tolkien on there.
Oh, I see. It says Christopher Tolkien, his son, edited and published the poem's fragments along with its notes and commentary. The poem explores the Arthurian legends, themes, and decline and the fall of Camelot. Yeah, it's called The Fall of Arthur.
Yeah, no, but it was, that's not the one I saw. It was Beowulf.
You sure?
Yeah.
Dude, Beowulf? What? Hold on.
Yeah, Beowulf is an old lord. It's not him. But put Beowulf token.
Yeah, no, you keep on talking, bro.
Yeah. Blah 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 blah.
Is that how we do it?
Yeah.
Yeah, bastard.
That's the cover right
no,
there.
Yeah, which one?
That one.
This one right here?
Yeah.
Oh, that's weird. Where you at? Where you at?
That's the cover I saw.
That's it right there?
Yeah, that's the exact cover. That's the one. This one.
That's interesting. Translation and commentary by Tolkien.
That's the one I saw.
Man,
yeah.
they're just like dusting off his old bones.
They're fucking squeezing every juice out of that guy. Poor guy. That's the sucker I saw.
Yeah, and it's edited by his son. Okay.
Yeah, I was looking at him and I was so confused because I'm like, Beowulf. He didn't write Beowulf. Why the fuck? That was just so weird to me. It's like J.K. Rowling reads A Christmas Carol. Just what the?
Yeah, it's okay. So it says here the translation of Beowulf by Tolkien was an early work, very distinctive in its mode, and completed in 1926. He returned to it. Later to make hasty corrections, but seems never to have considered its publication. So he did it for his own personal edification. He just wanted to do it.
So the son just needed a new yacht or something. So.
Yeah. So it says this edition is twofold for their existing illuminating commentary on the text of the poem by the translator himself, which I think that's what makes it valuable. And then in the written form of a series of lectures given at Oxford in the 1930s. He was a professor, so I can imagine him talking about this stuff. So therefore, it wasn't just like that. It was like one day I'm gonna write by Beowulf. It's like a teacher who is writing in order to present it to his students, which is
or
great.
a fanboy just writing notes about it.
Well, I think both. More because I mean the guy was a very dedicated professor,
he was a
teacher,
professor, yeah.
and he really he would participate in writing groups, and he would participate in essentially groups in which he would like discuss this stuff.
Right.
So, I mean, I could imagine him sitting at home, like putting this stuff together, really thinking about it, contemplating it, and then therefore presenting it.
Fun fact, Dead Poets Society was based on... No, I'm just kidding.
Shut
I'm
up.
kidding.
Shut up. That's a great movie, by the way.
Oh, Captain, my Captain. I used to get that movie confused with Good Will Hunting for some odd reason. I have no idea why. Don't ask me why.
That's hilarious.
Anyway.
This is boring. Why are we talking about this?
I don't know, but I just got a weird text.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Rebecca from Klarna. Your background and resume have been recommended by multiple online recruitment agencies. Therefore, we would like to offer you a great remote online part-time job to help merchant update their data, increase visits. I get so many of these stupid things.
You're not the only one. That's a scam. It's a
No,
scam
it is.
that's been going on. Like everybody gets like some type of like recruitment scam.
Yeah, there's so
Scam.
many that I've gotten lately, like so many. And I'm calling, and they call me, and I'm like, I'm not interested. Please remove me. Okay, thank you. And then 5 minutes later, same company will call me again. And it's like, hello, my name is Brian. I am here to recruit you for Amazon. Do you want to make $200 to $500 a day? And it's like, no, dude, I'm not interested. But they keep doing it nonstop. It's so frustrating to me. I mean, I get them on LinkedIn and stuff as well. But I mean, I don't know. It's just stupid.
So when the person actually calls you and you speak with them, why do you pick up?
Yeah. Fun. Haven't you followed my Facebook and seen all the...
Well, that's why they keep on calling you. Stop picking up the phone. I ignore. My phone has been trained not to like. Essentially, my phone never rings anymore. Like I'll look at the call log and it'll say scam likely, but it
Scam
never,
likely, scam likely, scam... Mom.
But
Scam likely, scam...
but it never rings. Why? Because my phone knows not to like push it through.
Well, scam likelies don't go through to my thing, but like if it's like a number like a 213 G-Tech Express or something, it'll go through.
For all the smack that we talk about algorithms, there are some good things it does, like exactly this kind of thing where it starts to follow your habits and it'll tailor its the way it works for you. So if you're always answering scam calls, the phone's gonna be like, oh, this guy likes it.
Well,
So
I actually have to answer my phone because it might be work related.
really, and so you just get random numbers calling you.
I get random numbers for like, hey, I got your number for so and so.
Is this like a work phone or is
No,
this
it's my personal phone, but I've been giving it out as a work phone for about 10 years now.
Okay.
So I get a lot of calls that I have to pick up because of that reason.
All right. Sounds like you do it to yourself.
Sounds like you cackle my balls.
I know nothing about your balls. I don't ever want to know anything about them. I would imagine it would be a very disgusting bacteria-ridden glaze. I mean, dude, like if there's a chance of alien life ever being discovered, I'm pretty certain it's on your balls. And
He thinks a lot about my balls. Sweaty balls.
Didn't I just say that I don't
Sweaty
think about your balls? Didn't I just say that I
Well,
don't?
you were just talking about how alien life will be discovered and all that. So I can see you like in there, like looking through every crevice.
It's dude, it's like science, man. Like, you know,
Science?
like
Not again. No.
Bacteria.
No.
You know, whatever, bro. You know what? I have this like little sticker on my computer. It's like it has like a textured feel to it. It's a little moon, and it has like a really sad face. And every now and then, like I'll put my finger on the moon, and it's comforting.
Dork. Okay, I got another one of these little Naruto things. Let me open it up real quick. I mean, the little hang things that I always get when we record here.
Sure. I mean, I don't want to hear it, but cool.
You dick.
I'm gonna talk to my cacti. Okay, you need to stop, dude. You need to knock that crap off.
Hey!
Is he naked?
Yeah, he's got an ass on him. Look, ass for days.
Why is he? Why?
I don't know, but I like it. That's cool. Anyway.
Yeah.
So last week, before we get off the air here, last week we couldn't record on the usual Saturdays. We had to record elsewhere. Why was that?
I went to. Well, if you remember the last podcast, I talked about like my leg cramps,
I thought your lady
And-
cramps.
and I didn't get to go to. I had to leave my show. Well, the following weekend there was another one, Cruel World, and I got to see. I got to see Nick Cave in the Bad Seeds.
Nice.
I'm ashamed to say that I never really paid attention to him until that show.
Wow.
It was really like the first time hearing the guy. I mean, I knew of him. I knew his name. I might have heard his songs over the years, like on the radio somewhere,
Yeah.
or maybe like in the cafes or the bars, but I never paid attention. But my God, was he amazing. I
Have you been listening to him all week since?
yes, I have.
Isn't that funny how we do that?
His first album, to her, or I don't know if it's his first, but it's definitely his first as the Bad Seeds, because I know that he was in some projects before.
Yeah.
The first album is called I want to say it's From Her to Eternity. I think is what the album is called. And man, dude, when he so on stage he had like a choir, like a church choir. He had his band playing, tons of instrumentation, and the guy was like dressed in a suit, and he was like right out into the middle of the audience, and he was singing to them. Dude, like dude, the whole show just goosebumps, man. It was amazing.
Nice.
I kept on looking at Erica and being like, what the hell is this? Like, where did this come from? She said, well, you don't know about it? I'm like, no, I didn't pay attention. But apparently that her and her friend Jen love him, and I'm like, I'm there with you now. So Nick Cave in the Bad Seats. I got to see Garbage. OMD.
I love Garbage.
Garbage is amazing.
I love Garbage.
Freaking what's her name? Shirley Manson.
Yeah.
Dude, she was amazing.
I love her.
She was just gushing all over the stage, like about all the different performers that were performing. The Go-Go's were playing. Devo was playing in another stage. She Wants Revenge. I got to see OMD, Madness. Although, dude, Madness was kind of boring. I'm sorry to say, like, one step beyond. Anyways, it was kind of boring. So I kind of checked out for their show. But after that, A New Order as well. That was the closing show. It was pretty great, man.
I was gonna ask you if Garbage played a song, but I was gonna call it "Go Baby Go," but I just looked it up and it's actually called "Cherry Lips." Did they play that? Go baby, go go. Now you go. Go baby, go baby.
No.
No, I love that song, man.
Yeah, I can look up the set list, but Dude, she was great though, man.
I love Garbage, man. That's one of the bands. That and Blondie are two bands that I've always wanted to watch live.
I mean, the thing about festival shows is that they're like really quick.
Yeah, they're short.
Yeah, and unless you're like the closing act where you get probably an extra like 30 minutes, 20 minutes.
He did play it. Bam! Second to last song.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So The Men Who Rule the World, Fix Me Now, number one crush. I think I'm paranoid when I grow up. There's no future in optimism. Stupid girl, only happy when it rains. Cherry Lips, Go Baby Go, and then Push It. Yeah.
By songs. That's like the perfect Garbage set list.
The interesting thing about it is she probably could have done more, but she talks a lot.
She does. She's a talker.
She talks a lot, like almost like through like every song she'd probably spend about 3 to 4 minutes. So if you kind of added up 10 songs, yeah, it's a good almost like 20 minutes that she like spent talking. So she probably could have added more songs.
That's awesome though.
Yeah, but it was great. It was a good show. You get your money's worth when you go to festivals if you do it right. And unfortunately for Just Like Heaven, I didn't do it right and I had to leave and I missed out on some of the best bands of the summer. Empire of the Sun, Vampire Weekend, 2 great acts. Will regret it to the day I die that I didn't get to watch them on the same night.
You're young. You'll go back to other concerts with them.
Am I young? I mean, I'm drinking a Monster.
I was reading the other day where now ticket prices have gotten so expensive that people are going into debt just to go to a concert or to a festival. That they're actually taking out loans.
That's insane.
Auto loans for it. And it's crazy to me because, like, okay, my family's 6 of us, right? So it's really expensive for me to go from point A to point B all the time. I've been thinking about taking them to Disneyland, but that's like almost like $1,800, almost $2,000 just for that to go.
Yeah.
If I were to get annual passes, it's 10 grand, 10, 12 grand for it. Anything like I'm like for my kid's birthday, I'm like, I'll take them to Universal. It's $800 and something. It's a lot of money, dude.
Yeah,
it's a lot of money. So that's just, and I'm the only breadwinner, so it's kind of a pain in the ass, and I gotta pinch my pennies and all that. So my question is to those of you out there who are single or don't have the responsibility of children, or or whatever, you don't give a shit, whatever. But yet you still have to go out and get a loan to pay for going to a Dodger game or going to see, I don't know, The Weeknd or whoever's popular these days. Insert Drake here. Why? That's my question. Like, is it worth it? Like, I see a lot of my friends, I don't get FOMO, but I see a lot of my friends posting pictures where they're like, oh, we're at this concert, we're at that concert, we're at this theme park, we're here, we went to Disney World. That's a lot of money spent.
I think when it comes to festivals, what they're probably referencing is going out of the country or going to a different state to watch a festival. I mean, I'll give you an example here, like Crew Fest. For me, like for 2 tickets, well, actually, not Crew Fest, for Just Like Heaven, set me back about $400, like 400 and maybe like $450. That was also including parking because I got preferred parking for that one.
Yeah, I would get preferred parking.
So now, yeah, I can see.
I'm one of those that, like, I'd pay extra for good parking.
Yeah,
because, dude, I don't want to walk.
And it makes a world of a difference. If you ever go to Crew World and you go to Just Like Heaven, get preferred parking, because like otherwise you're gonna park in the golf course and you're gonna park like a mile away and you're gonna have to walk back. And in the daytime it's fine,
On the way back,
we got all the energy in the world, but at night, oh dude, like the walk back is exhausting. Anyways, okay, so here's what to your question or to your statement about like people going in debt. I can see like a situation where if you're like, I don't know, like Isaac's age and maybe like a few years older, yeah, dude, I didn't have $450 when I was like 18, 19 years old, and I wanted to go to this show. So I can see myself having to take out a loan or finding some way of putting it on a credit card. I mean, most likely that's what most of us do anyways,
right?
What I did was I did the PayPal thing, where you can split up the payments. Also, a lot of these festivals also do that.
Yeah.
So actually I take it back. Just Like Heaven allows for a pay plan. And that's great. And so I don't know if Coachella does that. Coachella is one of those shows that I'm never going to go because I'm not interested in the acts there. But I imagine that if I was, it would be pretty pricey. And then, of course, for staying there, if you're coming out of state, you don't got the choice of going back home. I would just drive back home.
Yeah.
I wouldn't stay there. So I'd pay whatever it's going to cost me to, because from here to Coachella is what, about 100 miles? I don't know. It's 120
something. Yeah.
Yeah. So I would just drive it. I don't give a crap. I'm not gonna pay overnight.
Hold that thought. We'll be right back after these messages.
Stepping into fate, there is no time to waste. I've got that lightning inside me. This is how legends are made.
And welcome back.
Why I don't.
What?
What are you talking? I was trying to explain to you. That's reason why I never use that paste on my balls anymore.
That rash is getting green.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway. Oh, hey, how's it going? So if you may notice, the camera's a little different. Our gimbal just gave out again. I'm going to have to call DJI. This is the second time that I actually had to take that thing in for repair. The first time was in the warranty. I don't know if it's been the warranty this time, but fuck. Anyway. So that's where we're at. But we were talking about Token, and I don't remember.
No, we moved on from Token, didn't we?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, we were at the crew world. Nick Caves and all that shit.
See, that's the reason why you gotta let the cook cook. You know, you gotta let the chef do his thing, and you gotta.
Sorry, Methany.
Anyways, all right. You know, I was excited for like our second episode where we were gonna talk about demons and stuff, but yeah, whatever.
Put a pin in that.
I'm
We'll do
putting-
that. We'll do that during the week, and then that'll be the next episode.
But these people are dying to know who Abraxas is and how he's a 365th, like
all 20 of them?
general in the third Aeon. I don't know, man. I have no idea what I'm talking about. Hey, so just so that we can segue into the ending of this episode, I have a question for you.
What's up?
Because you're a busy guy.
Somewhat.
Like, what's going on in your artistic life next? What do we have to look forward to seeing you in?
Well, next up, I'm gonna be doing guy on guy porn with Enrique called Double Entendre, Double Dildo at the same time.
Dude.
Oh wait, what?
Dude.
Oh, that's private
That's
stuff.
awkward.
That's private
man.
stuff.
No, that's nasty. You nasty, bro. Like, I swear, like if there was a seat in heaven for me, you single-handedly stole that from me.
Well, no. What
Oh
I'm-
Jesus, Lord, please ignore him.
Hey, you were the one that got possessed in one of our earlier episodes. I don't know. Did you see the video with the little possessed guy that came out, or no? Not really.
No, what?
You know what we're doing? You're that Jesus, I repenty thing and all that.
Yeah.
I photoshopped you as a demon.
No, dude. You know it's so funny. I listened to our episodes more than I watch them. But I watched one of the recent ones, and I was really impressed with like all the work that you've been doing in it. And I haven't gone back to what is wrong. You know, I think what it is that I feel very awkward watching myself. I can hear myself. I'm fine with that. I'm used to it already.
But watching yourself, it's funny. I can watch myself. I can't hear myself.
Yeah.
Mine's the other way around. But no, yeah. So we were
You
talking
like to
about
watch
that.
yourself. Watch yourself.
I watch myself. You know how there's an old picture of you where we had our first business cards and you were holding it up like this. So I took that picture and I photoshopped it, and you're all demonic and, and horrendous looking.
That's weird.
And then when we're talking about Tapatio, I also did a Tapatio Enriquillo. So there's another one you'll see with that on there.
Oh, that's
And then
nasty, man.
And then I kept on having a flub where I was talking about, I was trying to say legible, but I couldn't, I was illegible. And I couldn't figure out, you know, when you get tongue tied, and
Yeah.
I got stuck. So I put like, legible, you moron. like you're legible. So yeah. Anyways, good times. I hope you guys are enjoying it. As you can tell, my son is holding up the camera because the gimbal went again. So sorry about that. We're probably going to have to cut it short before he cramps out and we are all sideways. It's probably all like shaky already as it is. So let's see. Coming up, we are going to be doing a demonology one because I want to talk about the occult and stuff like that. So that'll be probably our next episode. I'm also doing today, I'm actually recording another podcast with our buddy G-Man over at Into the Void. I redid his logo. I modernized it a little bit, so he has a new logo.
Oh, has it already premiered somewhere?
Yeah, he premiered the same day I sent that to him. Actually, he just put it out. So that's the old logo. That's the new logo. Okay, and then I'm gonna be doing that, and that's about it for now. And I got nothing else going on besides the podcast because I'm just stroking it along.
Yeah. Well, I'm thinking some of the summer episodes. I mean, dude, I think the summer is great for horror movies and like talking about like paranormal stuff. I love it. I think the summer more so than the spooky season of October. I prefer doing that in the summer because I don't know if it's because when I work here at my school, you know, it's a lot more quiet and I get a lot more. I feel like I see and hear more things during that time. So then suddenly I start thinking more about it, start reading more books about it. So I would definitely love to do more conversations about that sort of
We
stuff
will.
over the summer.
Let's touch some more. Let's do a little bit more paranormal. I don't want to overdo it, but let's do it.
I want to overdo it. Let's overdo it.
Let's overdo it.
Do we underdo
We'll do it on post.
everything? We underdo everything that we need to start overdoing.
Here. So we'll do some of that. Anything else you guys want us to cover, you could always email us at info@ouchcast.com. That is info@ouchcast.com. Whatever. And then that's about it. That's all we got going on. We got Bob Ross there. We've got Ghost. We got a little, what is that, a succulent? Or is it a fake succulent? What is
No,
that?
it's a real succulent. And you know what? You got to...
Enrique succulent.
There's a message here, right? I mean, look, head, succulent, putting it out to the world.
Succulent head. Okay, in that case, Lucha Libre, Fallout. I'm putting that up here. Anyway, so yeah, good times. And that's about it. Anything else you want to say?
No. I'm just looking forward to seeing Into the Void and hearing more about your adventures on that side of the podcast world.
That'll be fun. Shout out to Undercity. Shout out to the Nerds. Shout out to Into the Void. Lucha Cats. Glam Vamp. Safety Recovery. And of course, Cisco 3000. Love you, brother. And everyone else who helped us along the way that I'm forgetting. And peace, hair grease. And remember, never make eye contact while eating a banana. Peace.
Banana.
Banana.